President Biden has described the destruction from tornadoes across 5 US states as unimaginable tragedy. The governor of Kentucky says at least 70 people have been killed in his state alone. Many people are feared trapped after a tornado in Illinois caused the collapse of an Amazon warehouse. Emergency workers are at the scene there, and there are also reports of deaths in the states of Arkansas, Missouri and Tennessee. Foreign ministers from the G7 wealthy countries are meeting to discuss the build-up of Russian troops on the border with Ukraine. The UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has warned Moscow of severe economic consequences if it invades. British scientists say the country could have more than 1 million Omicron cases by the end of the month. They also say that 2 vaccine doses provide little protection against the new variant.
We begin in the United States, where dozens of tornadoes have ripped through 6 states. Media outlets report many buildings have been destroyed and at least 4 people are dead. The governor of Kentucky says the death toll is likely to rise well above 50.
This has been one of the toughest nights in Kentucky history, and some areas have been hit in ways that are hard to put into words.
The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says there were more than 30 tornadoes. It reports the twisters swept through the Midwestern and southern states on Friday and Saturday. U.S. media outlets say buildings have been demolished and there is other damage. They also say people are trapped under debris. A warehouse belonging to online retail giant Amazon in the state of Illinois is badly wrecked. Footage shows the roof has collapsed and rows of pillars are exposed. Media outlets also report a plant in Kentucky was destroyed while 110 people were working there. They say some of the workers may be trapped. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has declared a state of emergency. Rescue operations are reportedly underway in the affected areas. The foreign ministers of the Group of 7 nations have begun a 2-day meeting in Liverpool, England. It is Japan's Foreign Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa's first foreign visit since the new administration took office. The ministers are expected to discuss security and human rights issues with China's increasing influence and assertive behavior apparently in mind. Also on the agenda is the global response to the coronavirus pandemic and steps to control the spread of the Omicron variant. Members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations will attend some of the sessions online for the first time. Before the meeting, Foreign Minister Hayashi sat down with his British counterpart, Elizabeth Truss. They agreed to work together to achieve peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. They also confirmed their country's intentions to work together to promote vaccinations around the world. A British health authority says a COVID-19 booster shot provides 70 to 75% protection against symptoms caused by the Omicron variant. The Health Security Agency on Friday released the early results of a study covering 581 people who had been infected with Omicron. Some of the participants had received 2 vaccine doses, while others had 3. The results showed that 2 shots were less effective at stopping the new strain compared with the Delta variant, but a booster shot provided much more protection.
Actually, what we're seeing is, no matter what your backbone, whether you had Astra or Pfizer, you've got a 70 to 75% vaccine effectiveness for a symptomatic disease.
The agency says more research is needed to determine how long a booster remains effective against the latest variant. Britain recorded over 400 new cases of Omicron infections on Friday, bringing its total to more than 1,200. London is scrambling to get everyone aged 18 or older a booster shot by the end of next month. Meanwhile, Japan has confirmed its 13th case of the Omicron variant. The patient had returned about a week ago from a stay in Sri Lanka. The health ministry says he was fully vaccinated. He was hospitalized after he became fatigued and developed a fever. Saturday marks 20 years since China joined the World Trade Organization. The country has come out on top in trade amount during that time, but it still faces criticism over preferential treatment of domestic companies, intellectual property rights, and other issues.
China will promote the development of well-balanced trade.
In a videotaped speech last month, Xi Jinping stressed his plan to proceed with the opening of China's economy. The country's trade and investment have grown significantly since it joined the WTO as it cut tariffs and opened up its market. China's share of global trade was 3.6% before it became a member, but that figure rose to 13.1% last year, and the country overtook the United States to become the world's top player. China's participation in the WTO has benefited domestic manufacturers. This company's exports have increased 12-fold over the past 20 years, making it one of the country's top electronics makers. Japanese companies, including major auto and auto parts makers, have also expanded their businesses in China. Experts say the country of 1.4 billion people has advanced its position as one of the world's top export destinations.
WTO.
Following China's participation in the WTO, the country began serving as a market for the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, critics point out a number of concerns regarding China's trade practices. One of them is Beijing's favorable treatment of domestic businesses, such as the provision of state subsidies. The WTO and others say that China has not been transparent about such policies.
Will insist that China play by the international rules. Fair competition, fair practices, fair trade.
Amid rising tensions with the United States, China is trying to bring supply chains onshore. Experts worry that goods manufactured outside China may be shut out of the country's market as a result. China aims to take a leadership role in trade in the Asia-Pacific region. It remains to be seen how Beijing will respond to criticism from other countries of its practices. Residents on a small island in southwestern Japan have started to temporarily evacuate following a week that saw hundreds of earthquakes. The biggest to strike Akusekijima Island on Thursday registered 5+ on the Japanese seismic scale of 0 to 7. More than 260 quakes were recorded in waters near the Tokara Island chain in Kagoshima Prefecture in the week up to 11 a.m. on Saturday. Municipal authorities in Toshima Village started to evacuate residents who wished to leave the island on Saturday. Officials say 30 of a total of 75 islanders are hoping to evacuate. 16 of them left on board a ferry and arrived in Amami Oshima Island on Saturday. The remaining 14 will depart for Kagoshima City on the main island of Kyushu on Sunday.
I feel safe after days of anxiety. I'll sleep well tonight.
The number of earthquakes rattling the Tokara Island chain began to decrease on Friday. However, officials with Japan's meteorological agency say there is a high risk of falling rocks and landslides as the ground has been loosened by all the tremors. They are calling for caution as a quake as powerful as 5+ could still strike over the next few weeks. A Japanese man who has been leading a campaign to rescue the country's abductees from North Korea has stepped down. Iizuka Shigeo says declining health has made it too hard to continue. The 83-year-old sister was abducted by North Korea in 1978. Iizuka has spent more than a decade representing a group of abductees' families. He's met with 7 Japanese prime ministers and urged all of them to do more on the issue. He retired on Saturday. Prime Minister Kishida Fumio expressed his appreciation to Iizuka and pledged to address the matter.
Considering Mr. Iizuka's physical condition, there is no time to lose in resolving the abduction issue. I will work hard to take advantage of every opportunity that arises.
Yokota Takuya, a younger brother of abductee Yokota Megumi, has taken Iizuka's place. Yokota's late father, who was a former leader of the group, had also resigned due to health problems. Those were the stories for this hour.